what inspired you to go from engineering leadership roles at Google and Uber to then coaching and mentoring folks in the same?
Yeah. So what I've seen in many of the teams I've worked on and roles I've had was there were brilliant engineers that struggled. And it wasn't due to technical gaps, but it was because they were challenging to influence and collaborate and essentially work together with others. That was one thing. The other reason why I saw brilliant engineers struggle was because of poor leaders. And I felt that in order to help these brilliant engineers thrive, there's on the work needs to be done in two fronts. One, helping them build the skills that they need, but also helping the leaders be better leaders to these brilliant engineers, right? So to me, this avenue was a way to create bigger impact,
Hmm.
and not just in one team, but in now I'm working with engineering engineers and leaders from various tech companies that go and then they branch out, right? Their impact starts branching out. So to me, that was a calling and a way to make a bigger impact
Yeah.
and a more, I guess, long lasting change.
Something bigger than oneself or like just that immediate surrounding. And that is so inspiring because
Yeah.
I really like what you said about like approaching it on two fronts, like engineers themselves and the leaders, because you're right. Like leadership is not as easy as people might think it is. And you end up having a lot of leaders who are not good leaders. Obviously, not by intention. It's just something they don't necessarily know. And as an executive leadership coach myself, one of the things I feel like it resonates a lot with me is that if we can shape the leaders of tomorrow, then they can also go and become better leaders than they got. And so that is what you're doing. You're not just like helping them today, but hopefully they become better leaders tomorrow. And so then um, you kind of break the cycle of bad leadership.
Yeah. And then the other key message that has been, recurrent in what I coach and what I write about is individual contributor leadership. So leadership coming not from necessarily people in leadership roles, but everybody.
Mhm.
And I think that changes the paradigm, and that actually is the future. And I've seen, at very successful teams are have people that are empowered to make their own decisions and think strategically and own things and have autonomy, right? Not people that are told what to do, right? So I want to nurture these qualities and these skills in people more, in individual contributors as well as leaders, people in leadership roles.
Yeah, yeah, that is so true. Um, for yourself, like, has there been a specific experience or a moment that has really shaped your leadership style?
Yeah, you know how they say with like teachers in school, you like a subject because you really liked your teacher. To me, I had when I was at Google, I had one manager who was the best manager I ever had. I referred to him often. And I also had a really, really good mentor.
Mhm.
And they made me realize one in the way I observed through them leading by example in a way what true leaders the power of true leadership. And then them just giving me permission to lead in a way. Like I was that's where it was my first experience being a tech lead, right? And that's when I understood that leadership is not about rules. Leadership is about what your um, beliefs and direction and where you want to go with others and pushing in that direction and bringing people with you. And I think what was like key experience was them believing that especially my manager, believing and my mentor actually that I can do more than I thought I could. So kind of throwing things at me that I thought they're crazy
Mhm.
or even suggesting that I should try.
Yeah.
And then it all worked out and it was great. So, and to me, that type of like that changed my life, right? I got promoted, I got opportunities, I got the experiences, learnings, I got a team, that was great. So I really appreciated that they saw those things in me and they just believed in me, right? And so that's the power of a leader. Like leaders have that power to inspire that in others.
Yeah,
So that was a very transformative
definitely. I
experience for
think
me.
it kind of goes to show that if somebody else kind of can recognize your potential, which no, we sometimes ourselves don't have either the ability to do it, or just because we are so close to our own things, we kind of look at like all the flaws, probably more so than all the good things or all the strengths. And having somebody kind of give you the opportunities, I'm sure it must have been so incredibly like powerful and motivating.